Welcome and thank you for joining us for today's DealerOn webinar, From Average to Awesome, 5 Best Practices for Internet Sales. My name is Eliana Raggio and I'll be your moderator today. Today's webinar is being presented by DealerOn. For anyone who isn't familiar with DealerOn, we're an award-winning website development company and digital agency best known for our amazing SEO, the absolute best customer service, and the highest converting website designs in the industry, including the brand new Chameleon responsive website platform. And we are still the only company in the industry that offers a money-back lead guarantee program. Does your website company guarantee you a 50% lift in leads or your money back? I didn't think so. Maybe you should check us out at our gorgeous brand new DealerOn website at DealerOn.com. And I want to let you know that DealerOn is going to be exhibiting and presenting at the upcoming Digital Dealer Convention in Las Vegas, baby. So if you're going to be there, you got to stop by booth 505 and say hi. Yeah, I'm going to be there. And we have a great booth. And while you're getting your digital dealer on, please check out the speaking sessions from these DealerOn executives. Remember, it's booth 505. I can't wait to see you there. And we have a great show in store for you today. We're very pleased to have Marc McGurren as our presenter today. Marc McGurren is the Chief Digital Warrior at PCG Consulting. Before that, as the Internet Director for the Jerry Durant Auto Group located in Weatherford, Texas, Marc had more than 8 years of automotive experience. He's held positions that range from salesperson, sales manager, finance manager, assistant service and parts director, and even GM. He's a regular contributor and former community editor for DrivingSales.com, speaker at multiple automotive conferences, including the DSES, Digital Marketing Strategies Conference, CADA Innovative Summit, Digital Dealer Workshops, and Driving Sales Executive Summit. His passion and desire to execute digital marketing strategies is contagious, and his track record of "you can't fix what you don't know" helped his former employer have the best year in 42 years and sell over 10,800 cars. Now, as a partner with PCG, he's helped dealerships all across the country do the same. Sell more cars through PCG's proven processes, training, and best practices. Marc is an avid traveler, runner, and writer, and he can be reached at marc@pcgmailer.com. Now, during the presentation, if you have any questions, please use the question feature located on the corner of your screen to submit them. At the end of the presentation, we'll answer those questions of general interest. If we're unable to get to your question live, we're going to try to respond to you by email later today. Also, don't forget, a link to download a copy of this webinar recording will also be emailed to you later today for your reference. Please feel free to share it with your friends and colleagues. And guess what? Our good friends at PCG Consulting, they're giving away a spectacular prize today on the webinar. You got to pay attention to this, okay? One of you lucky webinar attendees is going to win 3 free classes of your choice at the PCG Learning Center, their new online training platform, which gives you access to comprehensive training modules from Google Analytics to video marketing strategies, even internet lead handling and processing. It's your choice. Pick any 3. Plus, you're going to get 1 hour of private coaching with the Chief Digital Warrior himself, Marc McGurren. This is an awesome prize for you and your dealership. This prize is valued at $800. You have to be on the live broadcast to win it, though, so stay tuned. You could be the one winning this amazing prize today. Also, at the conclusion of the webinar, you're going to receive a short survey, so fill it out because we're always looking for quality feedback from our audience. Today, we're going to randomly select a couple of people from all those completed surveys to also win some Google prizes. And hey, do you tweet much? Well, we hope you do. We'd love to see what you have to say about today's presentation, so please tag us in it. You can use hashtag DealerOnWebby. I'm at Eliana Raggio. You can also hit me up. Oh, you can also hit Marc McGurren up at Marc McGurren. We look forward to seeing what you're saying. So let's get started. Let's learn how to go from average to awesome. 5 best practices for your internet sales. Marc McGurren, oh my gosh, it has been way too long since you and I have webinared together. So glad to have you back on the show. And what an awesome topic you picked today.
Yes, thank you so much for having me once again. It has been too long, my friend, and so, no, I'm excited to share some 5 best practices that we help dealerships all across the country do.
I love it, and I love the title, From Average to Awesome. And before we got started, you said this is going to be incredible. We're going to take people from average to awesome in 1 hour. I'm looking forward to it. So I know it can't be that easy to go from average to awesome, where everyone would already be there. So I know we have a lot of stuff to get to.
And
Take it away. Where do we start?
all right, let's start it up. So we can come from average to awesome in an hour. That's why I said we should charge it. But luckily, you're on here with DealerOn and DealerOn Webby. So if you do, you can send some money my way. I'll send you my PayPal account. That's fine with me. That's fine with that. So, or my wife likes Starbucks and Louis Vuitton. So either one, those will work. So,
Starbucks.
well, let's move on. There you go. There you go. All right. So here we go. So right now, our objectives, what we're going to go through, folks, is, well, hey, thank you guys for joining me. I was telling Eliana, it's funny that people want to come listen to me, and just a normal Joe that just happens to know how to sell a few cars, for better or worse. So thank you guys for joining me, and Eliana. So at the end of the month especially. So today we're going to go through to learn how to have awesome understanding of your BDC or internet department. And everything we're going to be learning is for your BDC or internet department. It's not going to be either or. It'll all work regardless how your dealership is set up, or if even you are a dealership, your whole dealership is an internet dealership. We're going to learn about awesome connection, right? How we can connect with more consumers to sell more cars. We're going to all work about awesome personalization, right? Because I still believe that people buy cars from people they know and they trust, but how can we do that when all we have is a keyboard sometimes? We're going to learn about awesome coaching and how we can coach and train our employees. And lastly, we're going to look at awesome video. In the conclusion of this, if you have any questions, please reach out. I would love and do my best to answer any and all questions that you may have, and we'll finish the presentation with a question and answer session. All right, so first and foremost, let's not forget to be awesome, right? That's the goal, right? No one gets excited about being average. Let's be awesome. All right, so let's first understand awesome understanding is that I first want to ask the poll question that Miss Eliana is going to start off with.
That's right, audience. We have 4 poll questions for you today. We're starting off with this one. Please take the time to answer this poll question for us so we know what's happening in your dealership. What CRM are you currently using? Please select one of the following answers. Is it VIN Solutions, eLead One, Dealer Socket, Reynolds & Reynolds, or ADP, or something else? What CRM are you currently using? And I don't want to talk out of turn here, but I believe our speaker today, Marc McGurren, is going to see how you're going to answer this and then figure out ways that you personally can be awesome at your dealership depending on which CRM you have. Is that right, Marc? Is that why we're asking that?
That is, yes. That's the reason I'm asking is because there's different ways we're going to be going over to track certain things in the CRMs. So there's most of those I know very well, so I just want to speak to the attendees on how they can do certain things in their CRM.
That sounds great. And almost everyone has voted. This audience is ready to be awesome. Let me just tell you right now. Audience, thank you so much. You're amazing. We're going to close this poll and share the results. Here we go. Okay, 25%, so a quarter of today's audience, are with VIN Solutions. 16% said that they're with eLead One. Another 16% said Dealer Socket is their CRM of choice. 11% are with Reynolds & Reynolds or ADP. And the majority, 32%, say they're with something else. They're with an other. Does that help you out? 32%, I don't know.
That does. I mean,
Yeah?
that's interesting. I didn't know where it would be at. The other is interesting, so I'll be curious to see what those are. But it's interesting for sure. All right, so good to know. Thank you for taking time to do that. Like Eliana said at the beginning, you can't fix what you don't know, right? And so when I was in the dealership, we were a cradle-to-grave style dealership, but in a BDC environment. We were tucked away. But I learned early on as an internet director, I had to track the major metrics. See, because no matter how good my team was, and I had a phenomenal team that made me look probably better than I was, but I realized I had to coach my team on a daily basis to move the needle, right? I had to give them attainable goals. How many times do we hear managers or you've been spoken to, just go sell me more cars, go sell more cars, sell more cars, sell more cars, right? Ultimately, that it's not about just selling more cars, it's about the metrics and things before that to help you sell a car. And I said earlier, so no one gets excited about being average, right? They want to be awesome. So with that said is you have to shoot for the moon. Give your team attainable goals, right? Or not even attainable, shoot for the moon, go big or go home, right? But what you do is, and we're actually learned from the Rydell organization, is to allow goals to be hit in the stars and rewarded. Meaning just because you don't hit the moon, there should be goals and rewards in that, all right? So what I want to go over, the major metrics that we have to understand and we have to track, right? So are the following. We call this the 4x60s. This is real simple. I know this, but I want to share with you the digital road to the sale and how this affects everything. Because I'm a firm believer in the term probability and possibility, and what I mean by that is everything that I want to do, I want to increase the probability of those certain actions happening, all right? So our goal for every 100 leads at PCG, what we recommend is we want a 60% contact ratio. That's the base standard that we want, 60% contact. That means 40% I will never hear from, all right? From that, 60% appointment to contact. So what that ultimately gets us is a 36% appointment to lead. Now, for the folks in VIN Solutions, the 25% are there. I have a document, and just email and ask Eliana or put it in the survey you would like it. I have a document I can send you on how you can create a custom report on how to pull this on every lead. With VIN Solutions, you can go and mirror each individual and see the contact ratio. You can see your dealership as a whole from a contact ratio, but you can't break it down on individual. Well, through custom reporting, you can do that, and I'll be more than happy to show you with that. Also, with Dealer Socket, what you can do is you can change your status of your lead from up contacted, right, from unqualified to up contacted, and that's how you're going to track your contact ratio. All right, for a lot of the others that I know of, Reynolds and E-Lead1, unfortunately, they do not allow this, right? So this is the key metric that a lot of folks miss because they don't understand it, right? We know we want appointments, but if we can only get so many appointments if we have so many contacts. Make sense? All right. So from that, 60% show to appointment. Now I want to clarify something real quick. This is for ADF XML leads. Phones are a little bit different, but you're about to see some metrics for phones as well. All right, but these 4x60s are directly related to internet leads, right? And then ultimately, 60% sold to show. And lastly, that will net you a 13% net closing ratio. Now, that's our minimum acceptable performance we recommend. That's our goal, right? We want that to at all dealerships you work with, and that's the goal you need to shoot for, right? I want it better than that, though. So how do you get that, right? Well, you have to realize, like I said earlier, every action you are doing must increase the probability of the next action taking place. So when I'm calling and emailing that consumer, right, the first order of business is to not sell a car, set an appointment, or get the customer to show up. It's to create connection and contact. Later, we're going to learn how to create awesome connection, right? But think about this. Then once you have contact, the goal is to create an appointment, then get them to show up, and then get them to buy. This is the new digital road to the sale. Just like I said, you have the road to the sale when the customer walks in the lot, right? When a digital lead comes in, this is the new digital road to the sale. And we know this, but if you paint this picture to your employees or yourself, right? Think about that option. You can't go from contact to selling a car. Many times we try to do that, but grosses go down and everything else, we sell less opportunities. Because what I know is more contacts leads to more appointments leads to more shows lead to more sales. So if my dealer is screaming at me going, sell more cars, right, and I have a horrible contact ratio, then I need to work on my contact and what I'm saying and doing to get contact. If my contact is great, but my appointment is low, right, I got to work on my appointment techniques, so on and so forth, right? We got to focus on these things. And if you track each of these metrics in your dealership, I guarantee you can find your chink in your armor, and therefore individually coach your team. And each person might have something, another chink in their armor versus the other person. And it's not just about, hey, go sell more cars, go get more appointments, but what are we doing to drive each area of opportunity to ultimately sell a car? All right? So, Eliana, you are up right now.
I am. All right, audience, this is your second of 4 poll questions, and Mark would like to know, do you currently track your contact ratio for internet leads? Please select one of the following answers. Yes, and it really helps me coach my team. Yes, but you admit you're not consistent with it. No, your CRM does not let you track. No, I don't know how to, or no, I didn't know I needed to. Or no, but maybe we should start. All right. So once we get a majority of the votes in, we're going to close the poll, share the results, and then you'll know what everyone else is doing in their dealerships, okay? Do you currently track your contact ratio for internet leads? Yeah, it really helps me coach my team. Yes, but we're not consistent. Nah, my CRM doesn't let me do that. I didn't know I had to. I didn't know I needed to. Or no, but that sounds like a good idea. All right. Audience, you guys are being so great to me. So I got to tell you, almost everyone has voted, Mark. This is huge. Huge.
Love it.
Very excited. Okay, let's close this poll and share the results if you're ready, Mark. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
There we go. All right. 31% of today's audience, that's the majority, says yes, and it really does help me coach my team. Awesome. 19% of today's audience said yes, but they admit they're not consistent with it. 23% of today's audience said no, their CRM doesn't let them track it. Wow, that's a lot, 23%.
It is a lot.
It is a lot.
I know. Got to talk to these CRM folks.
Yeah, okay. 11% of today's audience said no, I didn't know how to. I didn't know I needed to. And 16% said no, but they admit they should probably start. Mark, does that help you out?
That does help me out tremendously. And I love it because a lot of folks do not realize how important the contact ratio is. It's so key, right? Unfortunately, some of the CRMs don't allow that, right? But for the 10% or 11% that didn't know, so the 19% that weren't consistent, I want to challenge you to be consistent. Because when you learn, you can't fix what you don't know. If you know that's a chink in your arm, you know your templates stink, your voicemail scripts stink, when you're talking to the consumer, or just the amount of phone calls you're making are down, right? You then can adjust your follow-up schedule and ultimately connect with more consumers. And if you go back when you get the PDF, print out that road to the sale, give it to your team. It's a visual representation of what's happening in the internet world when the customer submits a vehicle purchase request, right? So track that connection ratio and ultimately go from there. So some of your folks are going, well, what about, Mark, you said about shooting for the stars and be rewarded. Well, again, one thing I learned from the Rydell organization, long story short, great organization, they create what's called MAP, PAR, and targets, right? The MAP is minimum acceptable performance. PAR is, so basically if you can breathe, can call a customer and talk to people, your MAP, right? That's what you should be doing. PAR is average, right? But we want to be awesome, so the target is the awesomeness, and that's where you're going to get to that 15, 18, 20% closing ratio if you go to those metrics right there. Now, I don't want to go through all those right now because it will take too long. But again, don't worry about writing these down or screenshotting these, folks. You'll get the presentation at the end of this, all right? But ultimately, I learned so much on that because we want to shoot for the moon, right? We want an 18, 20% closing ratio. That's target, right? But we don't want to kill ourselves and shoot ourselves on the foot because, well, we didn't get it. We got 14%. Well, that's PAR. Well, MAP, you got to breathe. If you're not hitting MAP, man, we really got to talk, right? Either you're the wrong person on the bus or we got to do some training. And once you set these 3 goals up, it's amazing what will happen when you get people to MAP. Then you go to PAR, then shoot for target. And if you move each person up individual, right, the whole dealership will go up. And you then can grade and coach your team, as we'll talk about a little bit later down the road. All right? So use MAP, PAR, and target. go from there and get your metrics that you're going to have. And again, these might be adjusted based on the area you're in. If you're in a major metro area, hyper-competitive market, you might shift some of these back. If you're in a rural area with not a lot of competitors, these might go up. All right, let's keep on trucking, right? So I've been preaching about this connection, right? Let's talk to consumers. Let's talk to more folks, right? And so ultimately, I want to talk about the 3 A's. When I go into train dealerships, and if I can sit there and if I can get new BDC internet folks to understand these 3 A's, my job is much, much easier. And if you or your team can if you can get this ingrained in your system, you will be more successful and get a greater connection to that. All right. So what the heck are these 3 A's, right? It's not the A team. We're not talking about Mr. T. We're talking about ask, answer, and address. All right. So the 3 A's stand for ask, answer, and address. This is for your first responses. In the first week, you're going to be asking, answering, or addressing. But the crux of this is your first voicemail and your first quality response emails that are going out to consumers. All right. So what do I mean by ask, right? Well, as Jerry Maguire once said, we have to understand, help me help you, Mr. Customer. What are you looking to do? So this is a needs analysis at the beginning. So the questions we must ask to the consumer in our voicemails as well as our first quality response, the email that goes out, are relevant to the vehicle of interest. Okay, this is key. They are relevant to the vehicle of interest, not just, hey, when do you want to come in? Do you have any questions? Yes, those are questions. Those are not even average questions. Those are poor questions. We want awesome questions, right? And those awesome questions are relevant to the vehicle of interest. Some examples of that. Are you only interested in this particular model or considering others? I know that people are considering 4 brands right now. And I might just ask that consumer, hey, what else are you considering, right? I want to engage the consumer. I want to understand what they're trying to do. Because the reason a consumer is submitting a lead is they're needing help making a decision. I want to say it again. The reason they're submitting a lead is they need help making a decision. And it's your job to figure out what the decision is. We figure that out by asking questions, right? If I had a certified pre-owned that was clean and really nice and could save you some money, would that be an option, right? Some folks don't realize you got cars on your lot with 5,000 miles that could save them $5,000. You still got to ask the question, right? Well, also, go back to this. Are you looking for light or dark colors? Leather or cloth? 2-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive, all-wheel drive? Is sunroof, navigation, or DVD important? Are there any other must-have options you are looking for? Folks, this is a virtual needs analysis. You're coming alongside the customer, literally, and going, hey, help me, or help you figure out what you're trying to do. You're no longer across from the consumer trying to sell them. You're trying to understand them of what they're trying to do. All right, ask. The next question, or the next A, is answer. Pretty simple, right? We have to answer any direct questions that the customer asks. It's pretty simple, right? They say, hey, has it been smoked in? What should we answer that? Also, another little caveat is mirror the customer's language. What do I mean by that? If the customer asks you on a scale from 1 to 10, how clean is that car? Don't say it's really nice. Don't say it's super clean. Say it's an 8, it's a 9, it's a 10, right? You get what I'm saying? Because customers want to be heard, and if we mirror their language back, it's creating a higher probability of connection, all right? I heard it once said, if you don't want to sell a car, don't answer the customer's questions. I see so many times what happens is BDC or internet department folks have best intentions. They don't know how to answer the questions, and they just ignore the question altogether. Or they get attacked by the task zombies and just go through the motions and just go click send, and not be personal or relevant. So we have ask, we have answer. Well, Mark, what about those questions I don't know how to answer them for? I need more information. That's where we address, all right? We address any questions we need more information on, such as, hey, what are my payments? What are your interest rates? Not internet rates, interest rates. I'll make sure Eliana changes that. Down payment, value of trade, etc. All right? So anything that we need more information on, at least address it. Don't ignore it. I see so many times people do this. They just completely ignore it, and it goes on. But at least if we address it, we're acknowledging what the consumer said. So with that said just think about that. If a customer is right in front of you and they ask a question, think about how you would respond. Think about that. And do the same virtually via keyboard, voicemail. Make sense? So ask, answer, and address. If you or your team can do this consistently on every single lead, right, I guarantee you, well, let me rephrase that, the probability of you getting to the awesome factor is much higher. Why? Because you're going to talk to more folks. It's all a game of numbers. If I talk to more folks, I get more appointments, more shows, more sold. Make sense? All right. Hopefully this helps. This is crucial, crucial, crucial. One of the biggest points I'm trying to drive home. It's so simple and so small, but yet few perfect it. Okay? I get it. If you do this, I guarantee you're going to sell more cars. Okay? All right. So ask, answer, and address. We got it? Eliana, did you got it? She's probably on mute, so
Dude,
that's fine. I'm assuming she's got it.
I totally got it, dude. I have it all written
Okay. All right. Fantastic. Eliana's going to be awesome after this. She's going to go answer some internet leads and sell some cars. All right. So we got the 3 A's, right? What about personalization, right? People buy cars from people they know and trust. That's the bottom line. I don't care if you're in Jersey, and you're in Philly, you're in California. I'm on planes all the time, and I ask folks, and they're sitting down to me, hey, what do you do? Where do you go? And I was sitting next to a 70-year-old lady a couple weeks ago, and she told me how she bought a car. This lady's 70 years old. She goes online, looks at online reputation. She wants to be able to trust the dealership. But not only did she want to look at the reviews, she wanted the reviews on the person she was buying a car from, right? And through the reviews, she gained a third-party validation. They trust that person. They met the person. She's like, I knew more about the car than the guy did, but that was okay. I trusted him. This is a 70-year-old lady telling me this, right? And she was out, and she wasn't a Southerner. She was, I think, a New Jersey and like Eliana, right? Those East Coast folks, right? We'll get to watch those folks. But they still buy cars from people they know and trust. Not everybody, but ultimately, you got to at least trust the person I'm handing my money over to. Ultimately, that way, it feels good, right? But how can you do that? Because we know that only 40% of people we're never going to hear from, 60% we will. So how can I do that? Well, I want to show you a trick that I want you to install as well in your dealership. And when you do this, right, it's going to increase the probability of the awesome factor. And what I'm going to talk to you about is the why me, right? It's an email template that's going to go out. I recommend it to go out within 24 hours. PCG's recommended process is to go out the same day the initial lead comes in, okay? It goes out 4 to 5 hours after you respond to the consumer, all right? So your first quality response goes out, 4 to 5 hours later, you send out what's called a why me. Let me explain that. A why me basically is an email talking about yourself, right? It's why buy from me. Because you know what? These cars are commodities. They can buy that car just about anywhere, even used cars, right? Yeah, that used car is unique, but there's all over the country, there's cars just like them with the same miles, same equipment, same everything. New cars, they can go anywhere to buy those cars, right? The only differentiating factor is your dealership, but most importantly, yourself. Why should that consumer do business with you? Well, when all I have is a keyboard, it's very hard to do. So we create a why me email. It's talking about who you are. It's not about why buy the dealership, it's why buy from me. Now, I want to explain this. This is not a Match.com profile, but how you like long walks on the beach and all that stuff. But it is a snapshot of who you are. Because when I was selling cars, when I worked my deals across from the consumer, to my back was my desk. And on my desk, I had certain things on my desk that inevitably most folks would ask about, right? I had pictures of my dog. I had a picture of me skydiving, had a Dallas Mavericks bobblehead, right? They asked me about those things, right? And ultimately, we built a common bond. Well, we can't do that online, but now we can with the why me. Let me give an example of what a why me will look like. So this is, you started off something like this. I know it can be difficult to trust someone, especially when you're buying a car. So I wanted to take a minute and introduce myself. And this is where you explain how you found the dealership. This is my 12th year in the car business. I wanted an ABC Toyota during the summer of 2000, whatever, looking for something to occupy my time. I was a kindergarten teacher and thought selling Toyotas would be a good way to spend the summer. It turned out to be a great way to spend those 3 months, right? So here you're going to talk about what you did in your past life. Really short, really sweet, nothing big. I don't care what you were at. Also, use years. Don't use, I've been here for 8 months, because next month it's going to be 9 months, right? So you just start now. I joined in mid-2015, the dealership, so on and so forth. You then talk about your accolades, awards, recognitions you received, right? So here, this example talks about what you've done. I'm a top salesperson, whatever the case it is. You can also talk about what you do. I'm a runner. I'm a father. I'm a mother. I got kids. I got dogs. I got whatever the case is, right? And then you do a closing statement that makes you unique. For example, on this one, it says, hundreds of parents trusted me day after day to take care of the precious little kids for those 5 years I taught school. I hope you will trust me to help you through this car buying process. All right, so what are some questions you can put in your why me, right? How long have you been in the car business? Current dealership. Why did you come work for the current dealer? What did you do before the car business? Where were you born, right? If you're from somewhere else, say where you're born. Where do you live now? How long have you been married? Great kids, grandkids, boys, girls. What do you enjoy when you're not at the dealership? This is where that's that personalization to go, hey, you know what? I'm a real person. It just so happens I put food on my table by selling cars, right? You golfer. If you're a golfer, say where do you golf, right? What do you like to cook? Where do you run? Where do you fish, right? Do you do something unique? Or you have a Harley, right? You have a classic car. Do you have any pets? Pet owners love pet owners, right? So is there anything else that you usually share with your clients in order to create a report? Think about that. When you start having a conversation, is there anything you share? That's another thing you can do. It's just going to set you apart, because all things being considered, right? If I've got apples over here and apples over here, prices are the same at 2 different dealerships, but here's a guy or gal that I connect with that is like me, I just increase that probability of being awesome, right? Or at least let them buying a car from me. All you're trying to do is increase that probability. Now, I do hear a lot about, Mark, this is a bunch of hogwash. This is so cheesy. What in the world, right? I don't care about it, because I'm not trying to connect with you. I'm just trying to connect with just a little bit more people. If I just got another 10% more people I talk to, right, then that's 10% I didn't have before, right? Because not everyone's going to care about this. There's 4 main personalities out there. I'm sure there's other definitions of them. I'm just trying to hit half of them. The other half don't care about this, but a big chunk do. And that's the chunk that I'm trying to increase the probability I'm connect with. So what we recommend is sending it out 4 to 5 hours after your initial response. Not your auto response, but your first quality response you send to the consumer. If it's at the end of the day, the lead comes in at 7, you close at 8, you can send it the next day. It's not the exact timing, but ultimately you do want some spacing to connect with that consumer. Hopefully that makes sense. And it is a powerful, powerful tool. And it's amazing what I've heard people say, this is cheesy, this doesn't work. Trust me. And by golly, it does work, because you're going to connect with consumers. It does happen. All right? So that's awesome personalization. Now, what about awesome coaching? We talked about the 4x60s earlier, right? How can we coach our team? Eliana, I think this is when you're up. Here we go.
All right, thank you so much. Boy, you are cruising through this. All right, audience, this is your 3rd poll question today. We have one more coming for you after this one, but this question is very important, and we'd love it if you would get involved. The question is, how often does coaching occur for your dealership's BDC or internet teams? Please select one of the following answers. Is it daily, 2 to 3 times a week, once a week, monthly, or hardly ever, not at all? Once we get a majority of the votes in, we're going to close the poll and share the results. And also, I wanted to point your attention towards the handouts section of your GoToWebinar interface. We have a couple of handouts in there for you, including this slide deck. And if you haven't gotten in your questions yet for the always awesome Marc McGurren, please don't hesitate to send those in. We're going to be getting to the Q&A session not too long from now, and we'd like to see what else we can do to help you go from average to awesome. All right, real quick, let's have this question one more time. How often does coaching occur for your dealership's BDC or internet team? Please select one of the following options: daily, two to three times a week, once a week, monthly, or hardly ever, not at all. And we already have a majority of the votes in, and you know what? If you're ready, I will close this poll and share the results. Are you ready, Mark?
All right.
Are you ready?
Okay, rock and roll.
All right, I think you're going to be shocked at this. I'm kind of shocked at it. All right, well, we're going to go in order.
Wow.
14% said daily. 20%, so a fifth of today's audience, said it's about 2 to 3 times a week. That's great. 14% said once a week. Now, here's where it gets crazy. A quarter of today's audience, 25%, said monthly. And then 27%, that's the majority, they admit it's hardly ever or not at all.
Wow.
Hey, so, I don't work in a dealership, but, I mean, you're a trainer, so I don't know if you're
Correct.
biased towards this, but how often do you recommend that a dealership's BDC or internet team get coached or trained?
Well, wow. Thank you for the softball, Eliana. We're about to find out right now as we learn how to do awesome coaching. All right. So I recommend daily, and we're about to find out how we can do that. You're like, Mark, how in the world can I be daily? Right? What in the world? You're smoking some smoky. You're doing something, right? What I want to talk about, sorry, right? You're hanging out in Denver. You're with Tim out there in Denver,
really?
going, hey, let's go down the corner, right? All right. So I'm actually not surprised, because this is what I see is that half of you guys hardly, not at all, or ever, right? And so this is geared towards the folks that are managing a dealership or managing a team of folks. But even if you're just a BDC agent listening to this or watching it on YouTube later, this is crucial, because hopefully you have greater aspirations just to be an agent or internet sales consultant, possibly managing a team at some point, right? This can actually work for the floor ups as well. So this is so crucial, and I learned it, because this is the thing, is that I learned that when I was around my dealership, I wanted to coach my team. No one ever trained me. I love training, love education. I love what I do, right? But I usually had the best intentions of wanting and desiring to train my team. But it wouldn't happen. I look up, right? You jump on DealerOn Webby right now. You answer leads in the morning. You got heat. You're trying to do dealer trades. You're figuring out cars. Whatever the case is, you look up, it's 4 or 5 o'clock, and you're going, what did I just do today? Was my time just not well spent? It's all stuff that I did, but is it really worth it? Is it, So this is where I came up with the idea that I had to force myself to coach my team. And so I created this term, injecting inspection. What I mean by that is that injecting inspection is that it's got to be programmed in the CRM. Okay, what do you mean, Mark? Okay, I'm about to explain. What's going to happen is that in order for you to coach your team, right, and if you're going to manage a team, you've got to program it in the CRM that you're going to do it. How the heck do you do that, right? So what you do is in that, right, you put the first task in your CRM, any CRM, doesn't matter. All these are pretty darn simple to do. You can do it hours, days. I'm just looking for 24 hours after the lead comes in. You're going to take a deep dive into looking at what your employee sent out to the customer. So what I mean by that, you're going to pop up and you're going to be flagged for an email, is what we recommend at PCG, and you're going to say, you're going to send out this email, but this email can be sent out automatically. It's not about the email, but I want it a manual task. So when you hear this, this is a manual task that's populated in the CRM for an email to be sent out from a manager. It's not so much about the email. It's about this deep dive. What you're going to do is go back into the customer record. You're first going to look at the response time. How long did it take for your team to get to the consumer? Not just kill the clock, right? They might have killed the clock for the phone, but when was the first quality response sent? Was it 4 to 5 hours after the fact? I don't know. Or was it within 15, 20 minutes, right? Are you going to, PCG recommends 2 phone calls and 2 emails the very first day, or whatever they should be doing in the first 24 hours, regardless of what it is. Did they do the tasks at hand, okay? And then it's not just the task. This is the key. Look at the content of the emails that were sent out. Was it a bunch of hogwash, or was it personal? Was it relevant? Did they ask, answer, and address, right? That's the things you're looking for, okay? What's going to allow you to do is coach your team on a daily basis. So, Mark, I handle 1,000 leads a month. There's no way I can do this. Yes, you can. I handle 1,500 leads a month, and it took me about an hour a day. Now, because it'll take you a little bit longer at the beginning, but once you start going through it, right, you can do it really, really fast, right? Because all you're doing is you're spot checking them. You're seeing what's going on. Did they say and do? And then when you find a mistake, you can catch that ball if it was dropped. You can sit there and go, hey, Eliana, hey, Mike, what about this, right? What do we do with this one, right? What if the salesperson's off? You can then run with that ball. Here's a visual representation of PCG's recommend follow-up process.
Whoa.
So here, what you're going to do, hello?
Oh, I said whoa.
So here, whoa, oh, whoa.
Whoa.
So what you'll do is day 2 is you're going to, 24 hours after, do a manual inspection. Then 48 hours after the lead comes in, it's a quick dive. All you're looking to do is between 24 hours and 48 hours to the customer reply back. Did we do what we should have been doing? And then at day 6, you're looking, again, a quick inspection. No emails, just an inspection. Okay? So this is the thing with CRMs. There's a few CRMs that I know that can do this, but for those day 3 and day 6, it's just going to be a generic task. If you can't do a generic task, what you'll do for folks with Dealer Socket or with eLead One or with Reynolds ADP, that's why we asked this question at the beginning, what you'll do, just create a phone call, right? Task yourself for a phone call and then just leave notes that you inspected in that phone call. If you want to make a phone call, great. It's not so much about that phone call. It's about creating a task for you to catch what's going on, right? So it's not about just catching wrong things. It's when you're done right, you allow for the awesomeness to come forth, right? You're allowing the spin to go high five and great job, Mr. BDC agent, right? It's going to allow for daily coaching, right? You're ensuring that the process is being followed, and you're going to catch balls being dropped. Not even intentional, right? But if someone might be off, they got called in sick, a customer replies back. And if they are out a day or 2, right, and you're off on Sundays or so, it might be 48 hours before we get back to the consumer. But if you catch that ball, you then can run with it and help sell the car. Lastly, one of the best things when you do this consistently is it keeps you connected with your team. You're seeing what's going on. You're looking at every single lead that comes in, and you're allowing to manage and coach, you're training your team on an absolute daily basis. I'm not talking about an hour-long session. You're finding those opportunities as they happen, those coachable moments. All right, so we're cruising along at the last section. We're talking about awesome video, right? So I don't know the industry statistics. I try to find it, but whatever it is, not even industry, how we're consuming video right now is at an enormous rate, right? We all know it's important. Well, I hope you do. You're about to find out. But basically, some of us don't use it. So I believe, right now that we have to understand that customers aren't expecting it. Very few people are doing it. So why not? So why not wow them with our awesomeness with video? Okay? So, Eliana, you're up once again, my dear.
Yes, I am. All right, audience, this is your final poll question for today. We want to know, are you consistently using video in your follow-up process? Please select one of the following answers. Yes, and it's working great for us. Yes, but I'd like to know how to do it better. No, but I'd like to start. No, management doesn't see any value in that. Or no, frankly, I just don't have time for that. Once we get a majority of the votes in, we're going to close the poll and share the results. Of course, again, I'm going to remind you, if you haven't gotten in your question yet for today's DealerOn webinar presenter, Marc McGurren, now would be a great time to send those questions in. We're going to be getting to that Q&A session very shortly, all right? So the question before you, are you consistently using video in your follow-up process? Yes, it's working great for us. Yes, but I'd like to know how to do it better. No, but I'd like to start. No, management doesn't see value in that. Or, honestly, I just don't have time for that. I'm too busy selling cars. Now,
Well, my guess it's going to be yes, but I'd like to know how better. No, I'd like to start, and no, I think the majority is going to be no. I just don't have time for it. That's my
really?
gut. We're about
All
to hear.
right. All right.
Let's find out.
Let's see what you got going on. All right, audience, thank you so much for your votes. You have been exceptionally active today on our poll questions, and we really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, here we go, audience. Let's see what you had to say. Only 4% of today's audience said yes, and
Wow.
it's working great for us. Only 4% are doing it consistently, Mark. I know that hurts your heart. Did it hurt your heart?
Wow. It does. It does. I'm dying a little bit inside.
No problem, no
I'm
problem.
dying a
All
little bit inside. But the good news is 54% said like to start.
right. That's true.
Fantastic.
That's true, that's true, but that's over half who are not doing it yet, all right? Now, another
Right.
15% said yes, they are doing it, but maybe they're not being really consistent. They'd like to know how to do it better. 14% of today's audience said that their management wouldn't see value in using video in their follow-up process. And then the remaining 13%, well, they just don't think they have the time for it. Mark?
Wow. Well, for the folks that don't have time for it, and the folks, well, the management, you got to be having an old dude that's going, what? That blows my mind, but I'm not surprised, right? For the majority of the folks, right, I can address all this. I'd like to know how to do it better. I'd like to start, and I just don't have time for it. What I'm about to show you about the awesome video is about how you can do it consistently, right? Because for the 4% that it's working great for us, right, that ultimately, all right, Al, can you remove that quick poll for me, Alec? Thank you so much. What I found working with actually ride-out cars once again, learned a lot from those folks out there, is that literally this is no lie. This is, I swear, I got reports that show this. When video was used versus when it was not used in an internet follow-up, their closing ratio doubled or tripled. Can you hear that real quick? This is no smoking. This is not smoking mirrors. I don't sell a video product. I'm just going to give some scripts. What I hand out is the scripts that we're going to recommend, right? Don't look at those right now. Some of you might have looked them up, and now you're not paying attention to me, right? So hold on for me. Just wait a little bit. We're going to go over some of that, okay? But it literally doubled and tripled. I want you to soak that in.
Wait.
Doubled or tripled.
What doubled or tripled?
Their closing ratio. They're closing at
What?
7%.
No.
They used video. It went up to 14 to 20%. Swear. Mike Delory can attest to it. He's on this right now. Absolutely floored me. I had no idea. But their CRM allowed you to look at when video was sent, what was your closing ratio? When video wasn't sent, what was your closing ratio? And it literally doubled to tripled, somewhere in there. Some folks are triple. I think it averaged out to a double increased closing ratio from when video wasn't sent.
Wow. Oh, Mike, by the way, Mike Delory, he did write back in, and he said, true that. So he is,
yep.
He's absolutely.
All right, so the folks that are sitting there going, hey, management doesn't think it's important, share on that stat real quick. But they don't have time. This is for folks that don't have time, that want to start, right? So all we need is, if you get someone in the dealership's got a nice camera, talking about like Canon Rebel, something like that. Someone's got to have it, right? All you really need is a Canon Rebel or a video camera. I like a DSLR because you can use a nicer lens. Okay, you don't even have to do that. You don't need fancy video equipment. I'll send Eliana when we get all this links to. All you need is a lapel mic, right? You don't have to, but it increases the audio quality tremendously, right? And a tripod. Because the last thing you want is a little shaky. We don't need anything like that. No shaky tripods or anything like that. All right. So we're about to find out how we can do this consistently. Well, how can we do it? You know, Elise Caphart's been on your show, and best case, if you can do live video, custom video every single time, right? That's best. But for the folks that don't have time, I don't know how, I don't know where to begin, right? I realize sometimes it's super busy. It's hard to be consistent. This is for the folks. It's not going to be live video. It's going to be templated video. It's going to be what we call stock video. Let me explain that. Basically what this is that it needs to be the language you use in these videos are generic but specific. So what you're going to do, you're going to record 5 videos, just 5. You can record 20, doesn't matter. Record 50. But basically what you're going to record these all together. You're then going to upload them in your CRM and host them somewhere. I'm getting ahead of myself here. I'm just excited about it because I got so many people saying, I want to help. Okay, if I got a tool that I can hand to you and say, hey, Eliana, I'm going to double your closing ratio. Here you go. Would you use it? I would hope you would. You folks do the same. Okay, so we're going to record these videos. We're going to throw them up on YouTube, Vimeo, your website. If you have a digital geek at your dealership, throw them and host them up on your website. That's even better, right? But if not, YouTube will work. So as you're recording these, and in the handout that you have, again, please don't read them. Pay attention. Is that you don't want to. You got to be generic. So hey, thanks so much for your lead this morning, or thanks so much. You don't want to use morning, right? You don't want to use specific times because it could be going on at 6 o'clock at night or at 7 a.m. So you got to watch that, right? You just got to be very careful with the language you're using, that if you send it, it's relevant to every person you're sending to, okay? So we're going to create these videos. When we walk away from this, we're going to go find out, spend $100 on a lapel mic, go grab a cheap tripod, right, and borrow someone's camera, right, and do that. So it's going to be pre-recorded, right? We're going to upload it, like I said, to Vimeo, YouTube, or your website. And then what's going to happen is you're going to create templates in your CRM, right? They're going to fire in the process. This is critical. We've done this at other dealerships, and it's used haphazardly if it's not tasking the dealership to do so. So if you're just a BDC agent and you want to up your game and you become average to awesome, you can do this yourself. Ask your BDC manager or internet director, hey, can we do this? Which would be crazy if they didn't say it's okay. But if not, right, you can do it yourself. Load up the templates in CRM and use them for yourself, right? And because the CRM process drives the bus. And if it's not programmed in CRM, in your follow-up process, the probability of these being used is low. Is that possible? Yes. Probable? No. Because you're just going to go and do what it's tasking you to do, right? So the 5 videos that we recommend starting out, this is like the must-haves, right? So I'm in, I want to try it out, here we go, right? It's initial lead response, right? So you're going to have those when a brand new internet lead comes in, you're going to have a video for that. You're going to have an appointment confirmation template, right? I have unsold showroom follow-up. So it means customer comes in, they didn't buy a car. Why do we send after the fact? We got the phantom lead, right? This is the customer, the 40% we never hear from, right? They literally just dark, right? We just never hear from them. And lastly, we have a post-sale thank you. It's asking them, right? A, thank you for the business. B, asking to leave a review. Now, I don't want to go over every single script and template in this process. That's why I left the handout. But I'm going to show you an example of one right now. All right, so this is the welcome video template. This is going to be in your first quality response. If you use a pricing template, this goes in your pricing template. But this isn't the auto response. This is not an auto response. This is for you. So let me clarify a couple things. This will be done. Every individual will do this with handling internet leads. Okay. In all my years of doing this, I found one guy that literally could not do this. He would go through the script, he would talk all this out, right? But as soon as that camera light went on, the dude freaked. I'm talking shaking, anxiety. It was comical and sad at the same time. I hate to say it. So I tried everything I could to get this kid to do it, but he just literally, the anxiety was so much. Whatever it was, the camera couldn't. Most folks can do this. You don't have to be a video star, right? All that to say. So thanks so much for considering ABC. This is the actual email template you're going to be using, or at least the header of it. All right. Thank you so much for considering ABC Motors. I've received your vehicle purchase request on the Ford Mustang. The vehicle you're looking for is available for sale. It's a local trade. You know, you're personalizing it right there. He's going to go on, and then down below it says, I prepared a personal video message for you. You can watch it here. They can click on that link, right, and it's going to go to the video. And then below that, the pricing is as follows. So you've got the pricing, the template, the initial lead response, right? At that point, you're going to send the video. So what is it? What do you say on this video? Well, I'm sure some of you guys looked at the video script, but this is basically what it's going to go. Hi, this is Marc McGurren from ADC Motors. I want to thank you for submitting a vehicle purchase request online. I look forward to assisting you, so let me tell you what to expect from me. We're setting expectations. It's my policy to follow up all inquiries promptly and professionally, so I'll be calling you today. If I don't reach you today, I'll be calling you tomorrow, right? You're letting them know, hey, dude, I'm calling you, right? I'm going to call you. Just expect it. I'll also be sending additional information on the vehicle you're researching via email. If you'd like information on any other vehicle, just ask and I'll send it to you. If you'd like to speak with me now, the best way to reach me is to call me on my direct line at so-and-so. You can also reply to my email with the best time for me to call you back, day or night. I look forward to helping you with your vehicle research, so let's get in touch today or tomorrow. Now, the key to this is when you're coaching your team to do this, it's not about the exact script. So many folks get caught up in saying the exact words, right? But you might personalize it a little more. You might say it a little differently than how it's written here. But it's the value of the email or the video that's going out. You're showing that you care, right? Your awesome factor just went up because obviously only 4% of the folks on this are using it. So, and 50% are saying, I want to know how to do it, okay? This is how you can do it consistently in your process, okay? This is powerful, powerful stuff. And the reason I believe that most folks do not use video is the time it takes, right? How do I do it? Do I upload on YouTube? Where do I go? What do I say? What do I do? Well, in your hands right now are scripts and email templates that you can send to your consumer. I didn't put it in this, and I should have, is that let's say you post it on YouTube, the key when you host it on YouTube, if you're a manager in this, what I want you to do is you need to own that YouTube account. It doesn't need to be on their personal YouTube account, okay? We don't want our customers seeing the other videos of all the other fails and cat videos or wherever else that are on there, right? So it's a dealership YouTube account that the dealership owns. We upload those to those. The key is to make these unlisted, right? And you can also, so you can choose private, unlisted, or public, or whatever. I think it's public. You want it unlisted. Unlisted means that you have to have the link to see the video. So the only folks, so some people are really private that we have in the BDC or internet departments. So the only people who are going to see this are customers, right, that have a link from our email templates. That's crucial, okay? Also, you want to turn off the counter if you're using YouTube. You don't want the customer to see it's been viewed 2,000 times, and there it kind of takes with the personalization, right? So you do this. You program in the CRM, right? I can, Elian, when I get hang up or we get off this, Elian, I'll shoot you over links to Amazon where you can buy a tripod and a lapel mic. You can do this with iPhones or iPads, right? You literally can't. I don't recommend that. If that's all you got, then you know what? Cool. Use what you got. Something's better than nothing, right? This doesn't have to be produced, right? This is not major production. You talking to the screen, here you go. It's pretty simple, right? If you use this, the connection, again, everything's just increasing the probability of becoming awesome, all right? So, again, in your hands, you literally have this, right? All the scripts and all the templates you have right there. So we're going to take a look at those. Also, that's suggested resources. You can go to our, myself and Glenn, Brian, and another gentleman wrote a book. It's called Selling Cars Book, or Selling Cars in the Digital Age. A lot of the techniques that I just spoke about are in there. For the winner of the giveaway will get 3 classes at the PCG training, right? That's going to give a lot of techniques that we're going to talk about. Also, I write a lot. If you want to catch hold of some of my writing, you can go directly to me on LinkedIn right there, or just go on LinkedIn and search for me. I'd love to connect with you. And I love LinkedIn, good stuff. Anyways, so I hope, and we went right in an hour, right, that we learned how to become average to awesome, Eliana. I hope you feel more awesome than you did at 11 a.m. I hope, or Central Time. All right. So in conclusion, our action items, folks, this is what we're doing. This is our homework. This is something you might want to write down, okay? What we're going to do is define and communicate your map, part, and targets. Okay, see that little and there? That's extremely important. We don't need to define them. We need to communicate them to our team. What are your map, part, targets? Okay? We must ask, answer, and address every vehicle purchase request, right? So you have, and how you can have your team to do that and make sure they do that every time, is program your CRM to inject inspection. That's how you can hold your team accountable. Lastly, create why me's for your entire internet team. I've had the conversation before, Mark, especially for BDC folks, they're not selling the car. I know, but they're the one giving the customer the information. It's still relevant for BDC folks, all right? Lastly, create stock video and load and program into your CRM, all right? So we got this. We're going to do map, power, and targets. We're going to ask, answer, and address. We're going to program the CRM to inject inspection. We're going to create why me's. We're going to create stock video. And now we've learned how to become average to awesome.
Wow.
Eliana.
Wow. That was an hour of awesomeness. Thank you so much, Mark. You had a lot of information in there. And audience,
I did.
Yes, you did. Audience, if you haven't taken advantage yet of the 2 handouts that are in the handouts section of the GoToWebinar interface, now would be a great time. One of the handouts, as he had said before, is the PCG video scripts and templates. He put it into a PDF for you. It's easy to download. The other one, well, the other one is a PDF of this amazing presentation. Yeah, we're giving that to you right now. So all you have to do is click on that handout section and click on the ones you'd like to download, all right? Now, if you haven't gotten in your question yet for Marc McGurren, our Chief Digital Warrior over at PCG, well, what are you waiting for? We do have a ton of questions already for you, Mark, so I hope you're ready. Get yourself a drink of water real fast, all right? And we're going to get to those in just a moment. But before we do, now's the time to play your game show music if you have any. That's right. If you missed it at the beginning of the webinar, I announced that our good friends at PCG Consulting are giving away an awesome prize today on the webinar. One of you lucky webinar attendees is going to win 3 free classes of your choice at the PCG Learning Center. That's PCG's new online training platform. It's going to give you access to comprehensive training modules, many modules, on all kinds of different topics like Google Analytics, video marketing strategies, internet lead handling, processes. Honestly, you get to choose which 3 works best for you. Plus, not to be outdone, you're also going to get 1 hour of private coaching training from the Chief Digital Warrior himself, Marc McGurren. Awesome prize for you and your dealership. This is a great prize. It's going to be valued at $800. All you have to do is answer a simple question about the presentation you just saw. So get ready, get to your keyboards. First one to write in the correct response is going to be walking away with this really cool prize today. Good luck, everyone. Of course, as you can tell by the prize, my fellow vendors out there, it's not for you. It really is intended for dealership personnel only. So please, if you wouldn't mind, please sit this one out and let a very deserving dealership walk away with this awesome prize, all right? Here we go. Good luck, everyone. Here we go. Okay. According to Mark, what are the 3 things you must do in your first response to a lead? I'm going to give you a hint. It's the 3 A's. Mark is actually not looking for the short answer, are you, Mark? Can we go with the short answer, or
No.
you want the long answer?
I want the long answer.
He wants the long answer, all right? Everyone's
not
putting
just
in the 3 A's.
Not just what it is, but yep.
They're all putting in the 3 A's, but that's not what we're looking for. He wants to know exactly the 3 A's.
Specifically at the title. You can get pretty darn close. As long as you're close, you get the idea.
Holy moly. Oh my gosh, David Evans, you are my winner. Holy moly. What did he write? He wrote me a book over here. Okay, so while everyone had ask, answer, and address, David Evans was the only one who wrote, first voicemail email should 1, ask questions relevant to the vehicle of interest, not just when you want to come in. Instead, ask, are you only interested in this particular model or considering others? What are the must-have options you're looking for? 2, answer all direct questions from the customer. Mirror their language to connect with them. If you don't want to sell a car, don't answer their questions. Be personal and relevant. 3, address all questions we need more info on. This includes payment, interest rates, down payment, value of trade, etc. Holy moly, David.
Holy moly. You deserve it, buddy. You deserve that, sucker.
David Evans.
Man after my own heart right there. Man, got a man crush already.
Wow. Wow, man, oh man, David Evans, you are my hero, dude. I agree, David Evans. Oh, man, that made me sweat just reading that. David, where are you from, dude? Where do you come from? What dealership are you with? I need to know so I can tell everyone who they need to be following. Okay, he's saying, oh, he's from Eddie Terrell's North Park Nissan in Covington, Louisiana. Boy, they grow you
Heck
guys.
yeah.
They grow some good dealer salespeople down there over there in Covington, Louisiana.
Right.
David Evans, you have earned this prize, my friend. Good job. Well, thank you, everyone, for playing along. I mean, Mark, am I right? Did he win this prize or what?
He won it.
He won it.
He owned that sucker.
All right, David Evans, congratulations. You are the proud winner of this amazing prize from PCG Consulting. Plus, you're going to get a 1-hour coaching session from Marc McGurren. You let me know when we're going to be able to set that up for you. And everyone else, thank you so much for playing along. Don't worry. You know what? We give away cool prizes every week. So come on back another week for another DealerOn webinar, and it could be your lucky day to win one of these awesome webinar prizes. Congratulations, of course, to David Evans. And, of course, we've got to thank our good friends at PCG Consulting for their incredible generosity. That was fun. Okay,
Yeah,
David, you're going to be hearing
right.
from our good friends over at PCG about claiming that prize, all right, my friend? All right, here we go. You ready for some questions from the audience, Mark?
Bring it.
Bring it. All right, here we go. Your first question came in pretty early from Tim. Tim says, we're currently a cradle-to-grave dealership, no BDC.
Okay.
His question is, would a BDC help us to measure and increase our contact ratio? That's an excellent question for you, because let me tell you, there are dealerships who are like so pro BDC and other ones that are anti BDC. What's your take on it?
Right.
I mean, you've been to every kind of dealership there is.
Yep, I've seen both work. So the broader question of BDC or not BDC is PCG and even myself's stance on this is we're not pro one or the other. We're pro what's best for the culture of the dealership. I do know sometimes the BDCs would be too disruptive to the organization because they want their guys to handle leads, and that's what they want to do. But to answer specifically, will it help you track your contact ratio? No. Yes and no. The yes comes from most of the times BDC folks are going to be more process driven and willing to log those contacts because that's part of their job. A lot of times cradle to grave folks, the traditional sales folks, they don't see the benefit, or they're harder to train, or they're just like, it's like pulling a donkey, they just don't want to do it, right? But if basically what I see so many times is this is what we do, you want to be on the team, you want to handle internet leads, you do this. You got a log contact, whatever the case is. So cradle to grave can be done if enforced, if you inject that inspection, making sure they're doing that. Depending on your CRM, Kim, you can easily track that. Vin Solutions will track it automatically. Dealer Socket, you'll have to do it manually. All the others, they won't be able to do it. You still can do it manually, but that's very convoluted, but is doable. So, yes, it is doable with an Excel spreadsheet. And Kim, depending on your CRM, I do have a spreadsheet where if you got 100, 200 leads, easily doable. Have your team fill this out, and then that can track it. If that's what you want, let me know, or anyone for that matter. Let me know. I can put that over.
Excellent. All right,
how
Tim.
To manually track. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, Tim.
All right, let's keep going.
I was going to say, Tim, I hope that helps you out. But if you have a follow-up question, we're here for you. We're here to help everyone today. So let's make sure we get all of your questions answered as quickly as we can, because I know we have to let Marc McGurren go soon. All right, Mark, your next question comes to you from Matt. He says, Mark, when measuring appointment-to-lead ratios, is that based on total leads or only the leads contacted?
Oh, great question.
Great question, yeah.
Yes, so for clarifying that is for what the 60% will be from your contact. So no matter if your contact rate stinks, let's say it's 30%, you still want 60% from the folks you talk to. Now, and that's why you also look at appointment to lead, right? Because you want to see how many appointments you're getting for every lead. So then the question is, do you count gross leads or you remove the bad and the duplicates? Well, if you can trust your team, they're not jicking the system and killing leads, then I would just use the good leads. If you have a team that likes to jick the system, I would look at total leads as a whole, gross leads. But so it's 60% of whatever the number is contacted is what that 60% comes from.
Okay, all right, Matt.
So 10%, 30%, whatever the case is. Go ahead, let's keep on going.
Let's keep on going. All right, Matt, thank you so much for the great question. Amanda wrote in, what is your opinion on automatic emails for the why me? Stay for the why me. Do you like automatic emails?
I didn't bring this up at all. I brought it up in other webinars and training I've done. I hate automatic emails.
Really?
Okay, why? Why do I hate them? The only automated email that I like or would recommend using at the beginning stage of the game is an auto response. But if your true blue response time, not just killing the clock, is less than 30 minutes, then you don't need an auto response. But if it is, I recommend, I know VinSolution is the only CRM that does allow it to do a delayed auto response. If you go to PCV training, you can find out and take our internet course on internet lead management. You'll understand why that is. But to answer your direct question, okay, the reason you don't want that to be automated is, let's say that consumer submits that lead out at 11 p.m. No CRM that I know of, even if the CRM can do it, it's going to be the next day, right? So you say, in 24 hours, I want this lead to go out, or in 4 to 5 hours, for the lead to go out, right? Let's say it's 4 to 5 hours, right? Lead comes in 11 p.m., then at 4 a.m., right, you're getting an email that's, hey, let me tell you about myself, right? The customer knows that is not a legitimate email that a person sent. And so in our process to help how you can do this, when I got a bazillion tasks to do in a day, is that in your follow-up process, after day 10, if there's no two-way communication, that's when I recommend automatic emails go out, only after day 10. Because at that point, I've either A, made contact or not. That then does not create a whole bunch of manual tasks for me from day 10 to 90 to 120, however long your follow-up schedule is. Let the system, your CRM, do a lot of the heavy lifting from day 10 to day 90 if there's not two-way communication on your follow-up. All right, so I hope that makes sense, because it'll work for the majority of the time to auto reply on those YMEs, but for those 30% that come in and overnight or on Sundays, right, it's going to look disingenuous, and the whole purpose of that is to be genuine and to set yourself apart as a real person. So when you do that, the timing of it, the biggest reason is, if I could have a CRM say, you know what, that's going to go out every day at 4 to 5 hours after we open, or whatever the case is. It's just, there's so many times that could happen to make it look like it wasn't sent personally, that it could defeat the purpose of actually sending the YME.
Okay, follow-up questions on Amanda's question from Matt and Carolina. Matt wrote in, should I take my automated emails out of VinSolutions and schedule them as a task instead? Which I kind of think you said to do, right?
Yep.
Yep.
But I'll address it. Yeah. Yep. And what's the other one?
Carolina, she's getting all fancy on us. She says, well, what about artificial intelligence auto emails?
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Answer yours, Matt. Yes. So typically for Vin, what you'll do is you get rid of send automated email, but create email task and schedule for that template to happen. So remove the automatic emails only from day 10 and forward is what we recommend, and then create create email task is what you're going to do to send out those in the first 7 to 10 days from the lead coming in. Because I want personalization. I don't want automated emails going out that may or may not be relevant to what's happening in the conversation with the consumer. So that's why I don't like automated emails, because if I'm having a good conversation with the consumer, the last thing I need is an email coming out from a general manager going, hey, thanks so much for your interest with us. Yeah, you appreciate it. I'm having a normal conversation, right? That's almost a TO. You wouldn't TO a customer on the floor if I'm having a good conversation with the consumer, right? Okay. Also, remember, going back to the injecting inspection, I'm going to address that, is you don't want that automated because you want to force the CRM to look at it. Now, going back to artificial intelligence, such as Conversica, such as, I know some Elite, there might be some others. I don't mind that. because they actually know when to send them out, and they're not going to be sending them out, stupid times when they shouldn't be doing most of the time. Every now and then I see that Conversica or ACE get in the way, but most of the time it works pretty good. The only reason I would use Ava or now it's Conversica or anything like that is when your team, you don't have enough people on your team, it's almost you're hiring a part-time person to do some work. If you have a good team, you train well, it's almost not needed. But I do like, and the results I do see from any artificial intelligence is usually pretty good. So I don't mind that. So great clarification. Just make sure that there are manual tasks, manual emails to be sent out, that you're just not relying on the short, sweet questions from Conversica or ACE or whoever,
Right.
but you're actually giving them relevant content that's going to drive a conversation back in the consumer.
Got you. Okay, Carolina already wrote in. She said thank you. And Matt just wanted clarification. He says thanks, but is it okay after day 10 to use those automated
Automatic,
ones?
yes,
Yeah.
it is. If there's no two-way communication.
Got you. Got you. All right. All right. Thank you so
And if
much.
that, Matt, real quick, and then on that, you can create a custom process that you can change that process, right? And then if there is two-way communication, therefore those automatic emails won't fire if you have a good conversation going out.
Okay. Quick question came in from Patty. She said, should the why me include a photo of the person?
Yeah, I have no problem with that. Typically, the why me's aren't going to have, I don't like a lot of headers and whatnot. I don't mind it. What I would do if your CRM can allow you to track the open rates and read rates, you can try it. And if they're being read less because maybe getting flagged for spam for a photo being in there, then remove it. But if not, that's perfectly fine. But sometimes folks in the BDC, they might be all tatted up and they're not a front-facing consumer or front-facing individual. You probably wouldn't want to take their picture. But overall, I don't mind it at all. It puts a face to the name.
Okay, all right. Great question, Patty. Thank you. Next question comes to you from Linda. She says, do you have any recommendations on staffing, such as how many incoming or outbound calls and internet leads should you expect a single consultant to handle per day and still be awesome? That one comes from Linda.
Thanks for using the language, Linda. It's going to be awesome, yes. So when done right, so part of this is having a good follow-up process that can do some heavy lifting for you, is if you have manual tasks all along the way, they're going to be bombarded with so many emails. And at day 60 and 65, do I really want to take my time for my BDC or internet person following up with a consumer that's never replied back, right? Do I want them spending time doing that? No, that's why we have CRMs. That's why we have some powerful tools. No matter what CRM you use can do that. Let them do some heavy lifting for you. So with a good follow-up process there, what I recommend, if you're cradle to grave internet sales consultant, just handling ADF XML leads, no phone calls. I'm reckoning about 70 to 80 leads a month. Some are less, some can handle more. You'll learn as you manage your team what they can do. I had a guy that I literally got him over 60 leads a month. His closing ratio tanked. If he was at 60 leads or less, he closed at 18 to 20% all day long.
Wow.
So just remove those. So you have to find your team that can do that. For a BDC person that's just doing internet leads, which is not what I recommend, but if they're just doing internet leads, they can handle about 150 to 175. 200 to 225, right? If they're taking phone calls and doing other things, which they should be doing because it's a business development center, right, they're going to handle between 150 to 175. Because just because they're answering phone calls, doing equity mining, service, all that unsold showroom follow-up, they're going to have other tasks to do besides internet leads. That's why that discrepancy is. So to clarify, cradle to grave, no phone calls, 70 to 80. They're taking phone calls, probably less. BDC taking phone calls, 150 to 175. If no phone calls, then 200 to 225. That's a pretty good rough estimate.
Okay.
And obviously it'll adjust. So.
Okay, Linda, thank you for the great question. Okay, we had like 3 different people who wrote in the same kind of question. All right, so I'm just going to read one of them and summarize what the rest of them said. So we had Matt, David, actually today's winner, and Mr. Depose. They all had questions about how to send the video. Basically, they are all asking, do you host the video on YouTube and then embed it in the email? Do you send it through? I mean, what's the best way? What is in your opinion, the best way to send those videos? Is YouTube the only site that you would use to host it? Are you worried that the video would affect the receipt of the email? They're asking all kinds of questions, but it's all the same.
Yeah.
So tell me,
right.
What's the best way?
So typically, best case scenario, if you want to look at some folks that are doing it, you can go to Bowen Scarff Ford, BOWENSCARFF Ford. They're outside of Seattle. What they do is actually host these videos on their website. Dealer.com, you can do this super easy. We can actually host it on your website. That way they're not looking at other stuff. That is the absolute most awesome way to do that. If you're technically challenged or they don't want to do that, right, because you can create a page on Dealer.com that's hidden, it's not posted up. When people are searching it, it's just going to be kind of in the background. Unless you go to that page, no one's going to know that. That's best. That's the most awesome you can do. I know a lot of folks can't do that. Next up is host it up on YouTube or Vimeo, either one. Vimeo is, sometimes people don't know Vimeo. You got your good old country boy, he might know what the heck Vimeo is and think it's great.
I like
right?
Vimeo. Vimeo
That's the truth. I do. I love Vimeo. You get everyone's like us, but everyone knows what YouTube is. So the problem with embedding it in there, you can do that. You can take a screen. I've seen it done multiple ways to where you take a screenshot and you hyperlink that screenshot to the video, takes it in there. I like to keep full and sweet and try to remove the possibility or probability of going to spam. So you can easily link that in there. So from the handout you have and the email template, what you do, it says you can watch it here. That's a link to YouTube. And remember that YouTube is your dealership page. The video is unlisted, right? And what you can do is play around with it. Most CRMs allow you to pull email template performance report. eLead 1 can't do it. Then DealerSocket can. So you take a look at those to see what's going on, to see if it's what's being open-read. You can do A/B testing, just like what DealerOn does sometimes. Do some A/B testing.
Oh yeah,
right?
We do a lot of that.
And see what's working the best. And so you can try different things. So you have an option A, do a screenshot of the video, hyperlink that video so they can know to click on it. My personal preference is because it's going to go out on a pricing template, the first quality response. There's already enough stuff on there that I can click on that and it'll go to that. All you gotta do is watch that. You can even do a bit.ly link if you wanted to do that, bit.ly. See how many folks are actually clicking on that link. You can do that. So ultimately, the easiest, still good, not super awesome, it's still awesome, is host it up on YouTube and just have a link like you have in your handout and just hyperlink that to the YouTube channel or Vimeo of your choice.
Right. Okay, so I know we have to let you go. One last question that came in from Derek. He just wants to know if you're using the auto response for the Why Me. No, you're not using the auto response for the Why Me and the personal video response. What would be the ideal time factor to send out the Why Me and then follow up with the personal video response?
Okay. Oh, gotcha. I have to think through that. So the personal video response, like going out immediately or as soon as possible. Because you're setting an expectation of what's happening. If you want to include pricing information in there, just change the script up to say included in this email is information on the vehicle you requested. You can easily say that. So that can go into your first quality response, right? I have some dealerships that's their auto response is the video. They're after hours. They can do that. But addressing this one in particular for the welcome video, you can easily put that in your first quality response. Just change the language to, in this email, you'll find the vehicle you inquired about, so on and so forth. Then the Why Me, let me explain a little bit so the folks that are hanging on here, oops, my bad. The folks that are hanging on here at the end, is the reason the timing is 4 to 5 hours after that lead comes in. The reason, the method to that madness is that I go at I'm assuming they're going to shop others. Even if they don't, I'm the only one they shopped, right? and I'm the only one emailing them, think about how many emails you get in a given day. I shop you right now, right? I'm working. I'm going to hang up this phone and go to work. I'm going to not look at my personal email or something else till this evening. What happens to that email that I sent, that literally the dealership sent to that consumer? Think about where that email is literally in their inbox. It's way down at the bottom, right? Literally at the bottom of your iPhone, Android, Mail, Outlook, whatever. Now, what happens is that why me goes out 4 to 5 hours after. It's just that it's almost a reminder going, hey, remember me? I sent you the pricing quote earlier, right? Here you go, right? So just tell about myself. So it's about 4 to 5 hours later. It's not set. So if it's within a couple hours of the store closing, you can send it out the next day.
Gotcha.
Because it's all about that connection and getting in their inbox.
Interesting. So you have a little science to this. So that's your sweet spot, about 4 hours after, huh?
Yes.
All right.
It could be 3 hours, could be a little bit, could be, but it's that you're taking that break because they've already got their pricing template or your auto response or whatever, right? And then you're just waiting to go, hey, remember me? You asked about a car. Help me help you. So.
All right. Well, Mark, no doubt about it, you are definitely my favorite Chief Digital Warrior. You really know your stuff, Mark. Thank you so much. I love having you on my show, and you did not disappoint. You were, in fact, awesome today. I do appreciate a great presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, I want to remind the audience, guess what? We recorded this for you, and we're going to be sending you that link a little bit later on today. We're also going to be posting this webinar online within 24 hours. Just go to dealeron.com/webinars to view our upcoming webinar schedule or access any of our past webinars. Also, when this webinar concludes in just a moment, you're going to receive a short survey, really short, 6 questions. Please, you got to fill it out for me. We're always looking for great feedback from our audience. Today we're going to randomly select a couple of people from all those completed surveys to also win some Google prizes. Mark, where are you going? I still need you on the last few slides.
I know. I'm so sorry. It went away. My network connection has been lost.
No, you're not.
You got it?
I see you.
I know, I've lost. Can
There we go.
Okay.
There we go. That's good. That's good. Also, want to let you know that DealerOn is going to be exhibiting and presenting at the upcoming Digital Dealer Convention in Vegas, baby. Are you going to be there? I'm going to be there. Stop by booth 505 and say hi. We got the best booth around, and we'll help you with all of your digital marketing needs. And while you're getting your digital dealer on, I hope you'll check out the speaking sessions from these DealerOn executives. They are quite awesome as well. Booth 505. Can't wait to see you there. Invitations will be going out tomorrow for our next webinar. It's a doozy, too. It's the DealerOn Academy Q4 Automotive Marketing Briefing. So I hope you've attended any of the previous ones from Q1, Q2, Q3. So it's more of the same. Join members of the DealerOn executive team. We're going to discuss current automotive marketing updates, industry perspectives, and best practices. This is a completely interactive webinar where the majority of time is dedicated to Q&A from the audience. The collective knowledge of DealerOn's leadership team includes retail automotive, marketing technology, service experience. We do it all. Don't miss the Q4 Automotive Marketing Briefing. We're going to have DealerOn executive team there. We're going to have the CEO, 2 co-founders, our Chief Marketing Officer, our new Director of Search and Social, Greg Gifford, our EVP of Business Development who loves to talk about fixed ops, Jeff Clark, Sean Rains, who are our VP of Marketing. He loves to talk about social and branding. Jason Azella is also going to be there. He's going to talk about sales operations. So don't forget, DealerOn's weekly webinars are held Thursdays, 12 noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, 9 a.m. Pacific. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions regarding these webinars and our topics, feel free to contact me. Again, I love hearing from you. My name is Eliana Raggio, so reach out to me. Track me down online at Facebook, Twitter, Google+, or any of the automotive social networks, or you can email me directly at eliana@dealeron.com. Thank you all so very much for spending this time with us today, and I hope to see you all on another webinar in DealerOn's continuing education series. Take care.